Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad, this is my channel Adamant Orange, and welcome to the beginning of another ICONX build. Today we are going to start on the ICONX Yamato battleship, and I am rather excited to start this model. I'm expecting it to be something similar to the ICONX Missouri model, which I had a lot of fun building. It was a very complex model, a lot of detail and a lot of work went into that, but it was very rewarding and very worth it. And I'm expecting this to be much the same. Now, it is listed as a challenging model. It is on the harder scale, not really high up, but well, let's go over to the table, open it up. I am expecting it to be fairly challenging because, again, I'm expecting it to be much like the Missouri, which was challenging but worth it. Let's go over to the table, open up this package, see what's inside, and begin putting it together. And here we have the Yamato battleship. I think I forgot to put the tape. Give me a minute here. Try to do this before I get started, and I'm not always successful. There we go. Put that guy away. Once again, we have the Yamato battleship. Excited about building this. Really enjoyed the I really enjoyed the other battleship that I made, the other ICONX battleship, and I think it was Missouri. Turned out amazing, so I'm very much looking forward to this. I can't see why it wouldn't be equally amazing. What do we have inside? We have some colorful sheets inside, and I'm just looking at one. What else do we have inside? We should have some instructions, if they will come out. We have instructions. Oh boy, we have lots of instructions. This is gonna take a while. And that's it. No more tweezers. For shame. It's not like I don't have enough, eh? Alright, let's peel this piece of tape off here. And it wraps around. Stick it over on the corner of my table here, where it can come back to haunt me later. Excellent. How many sheets do we have? Oh, we have several. We have one silver and slightly golden sheet. We have another sheet. You'll notice that this has no engraving on the side. I like that they pack these so that the shiny non-engraved sides touch each other, and that way you don't scratch up the detail, which is on this side. I have a nice bit of red in here. Set that carefully over to the side. Now, there's a piece of paper on the shinies on the colored side to protect these two sheets. And there we go, more red color, more bits and pieces. And the back side. Put that back in there. We're going to slide our protective sheet back in there. Try to. Put the colored side down like it came. And back to back. And we'll set this off to the side for now. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper for the instructions. I am just going to talk ever so briefly. Let's grab the one that has the ICONX logo on it. This is most likely the first piece. Oh, we have more surprises. Look at that. We have little tiny gun barrels. How relieving it is to not have to shape those. Model parts. Put that to the side. Continue opening the instructions. Try to go over this somewhat briefly if this is your first model, give you some idea of what's going on here. We have page 1, the ICONX and Metal Earth logos. We have our 360 view, the web address. Type in this web address on your computer, or just scan this QR code with a phone or tablet, and it will take you to a place where you can see a completed 360 view of the model for reference sake if you need it. And sometimes sometimes you'll need it. And there's a line drawing of the model. Here's a sample part down beneath that in the to create the best connection section. But notation on slots, fold lines, and tabs. Really can't even hardly see the slot in this example. But basically, slots are just little cuts where tabs fold or go into to connect parts. Fold lines are pre-scored areas so that you can more easily fold a piece or section. You have our legend here, which has gotten complicated over the years, but really not that complicated. You've got E pointing at an engraved side, N is pointing at a non-engraved side. Now sometimes the non-engraved side will have what appears to be engraving, but it's more like fold lines or the backside detail. P painted side. So they're actually separating it out in this model. Sometimes the E is also considered the painting side, but they're actually pointing out painted side in this model. Attention point. Usually the attention point is trying to tell you that something needs to line up a certain way, like a tab needs to be facing a certain direction or a slot in a certain direction when you connect a part. Occasionally there'll be notations like words with it telling you what they're telling you to pay attention to, but not usually. Blue circle means to insert a tab in a slot and fold it 90 degrees. Green triangle, insert a tab into a slot, twist it 90 degrees. Folded tabs are neater looking. Twisted tabs are tighter, better connections, but not as clean looking. A lot of times I will make changes based on what I feel is a better choice, but be careful with the folded tabs. Make sure that if you decide to twist a folded tabs, that it's not going to be a part that's going to get in the way later. Sometimes it's necessary to fold the tab over because it's going to be in a tight space and it will bump into another part and keep it from sitting properly if you don't fold it over. Assembly tips about basically, well, assembly tip. If needed, slightly twist tabs to hold parts together, then untwist and bend them for a nice finish. It's a suggestion that I've been given for a while. You'll get a shaky part that needs something folded. There's not much connecting it. You don't want to mess around with trying to fold it now. Give it a light twist. Continue assembling things. Later, when more of it's together and it's more stable, you can come back, untwist that slight twist, fold it over for a clean look. And recommended tools. We will talk about tools here in just a second. Below that's assembly steps, starting with part 1. We've got part 1, which is on page C. We haven't really gotten to those yet. So actually, let's jump over that. This is a little out of order. We're going to jump over, before we talk about the assembly steps, we should talk about this page right here. Page 2 actually has all the metal sheets on it. We'll grab one as an example. Which sheet do we have? We have, looks like we have sheet A, upside down. So this is sheet A. You'll notice that they're all lettered, which makes it easier to find the parts. This is a drawing of sheet A and all the parts. Numbers are listed pointing at all the parts. You'll notice that a lot of parts are colored in. There's a lot of duplicate parts right here, all a light blue color. These are all the same part. I'm not sure which number is pointing at them. It might be another part, but all these are the same part. These kind of greenish pieces, they're all the same. These two purplish long strips, they're the same part. There's a lot of duplicate parts in this because you got a lot of the same guns and a lot of the same detail. So rather than crowd this up with crisscrossing lines that will confuse you, they label the part once and they color them all the same so you can find the rest. I really appreciate that particular method. It makes for finding things a bit easier. All the sheets are labeled so you can easily find the part. So if we go back over here to assembly steps, to step 1, we have part 1, which is on sheet C. Alright, it's on sheet C. So all we have to do is search in this for part 1, find it on the sheet, clip it out. Going back over here, this part, you've got this orangish reddish area. That's indicating that this piece folds up. Then you come over here, the curved arrow indicates that curves around. Then we come over here, we've got part 2, which is on sheet A. It curves around and they attach together and you end up with that. Also, green triangle, these tabs twist because they're hidden inside. There's plenty of room. Twist them, keep that part on. You end up with that. Down here we have part C, or part 3 on page C. Looks like that. Come over here, we're folding the sides down. This is indicating that the painted side should be facing up. Come over here, there's more folding going on. Over here, there's more folding and shaping going on. Over here, we attach what we assembled up here with what we just did here together and end up with that. And that's the gist of it. We're going to jump over page 2 since this is where the assembly, or where the sheets are, but basically once you get to the end of this page, you'll jump to the next page, which is 3, step 2. Continue on with the assemblies and sub-assemblies, connecting all the parts, jump to the next step and the next step. And you'll notice at some point, like here in step 4, they reference step 3. So whatever you assembled in step 3 comes back into play here, and the pieces that you assembled in this step attached to it. Just continue on down the page. Once you get to the end of this sheet, look for, in this mass of paper, the next page. That's got page 10 on it, so that's not going to be it. It's probably going to be one of these two. You're looking for page 5 and one of these. Unfold it and pick up where you left off and continue on through all the pages until you are finished with your model. Let's talk a little bit about tools. The very basics of what you're going to need is a pair of tweezers and some clippers. The tweezers, you can do a lot of bending, shaping, twisting of tabs, folding of things over. The clippers are going to help you get the pieces out of the sheets cleanly and easily by clipping them out instead of trying to bend them out, which can cause damage. I've also supplemented my set with some precision tweezers. I have a couple of pointed ones here. One, I ground the tip down just a little bit to give it a more sturdy tip for tabs and twisting things, and then I have a precision flat set, and between all of these I can do a lot of bending and shaping and twisting. I also strongly recommend some sort of pliers to complement your set. I have some flat nose here that have definite uses. I have some long needle nose pliers for some of the longer pieces, and then I have some curved tips for grabbing things at an angle and bending them over. For shaping a lot of curves and dome shapes and whatnot, you'll see me use an array of 3D printed tools that I've designed that you can find on my Etsy if you're interested. Otherwise, you'll also see me pull out a cheap drill bit set that I have that's not sharp for shaping cylinder shapes, or just look around your house and use objects that you find like dowel rods, pencils, maybe some beads to shape certain things. I have a sculpting set here that I occasionally use, and they have all kinds of different shaped ends on them. Some flat, some angled, some spoon. There's a couple of hooks. They're useful for reaching in and bending and pushing and pulling tabs and shaping parts from the inside. Alright, we've talked about some tools. There's going to be a lot of shaping going on in here. This thing has got a lot of parts and a lot of detail and a lot of pages of instructions. But you know what? This thing is going to be so worth it when it's done. I'm very much looking forward to it. Got our basic tools to get us started, some basic tweezers and pliers, and all important clippers to cut the parts off of the sheets nice and clean. Metal sheets and instructions at the ready. Let's get to work building the Yamato battleship. Curving this edge did not work like I thought it would. It would have probably been easier to attach this part and secure the tabs before folding over the side sections. To shape these round edges or railing pieces, I am using the tips of my round nose pliers to carefully bend them. I'm using the edge as a guide, which works well for most of these, but two of the platforms have a squared off area that blocks my ability to see just how rounded the edge should be. This has caused me more trouble than I would have thought. I thought my 3D printed tapers would be a good tool for shaping this part, but I didn't quite have the right size. More shaping thin round edges. As careful as I tried to be when folding part 11, it just didn't turn out right. It just didn't want to fold evenly or straight. I almost had success with the last one of the 4 when I waited until after folding the main part all the way over before folding in the solitary flap on the joining side. I missed the earlier part about folding the flags in half. The instructions say to twist these tabs, but I wanted to try and bend them over for a neater look.
The indication here is to fold over the tabs. With only 2 tabs in a straight line holding this part on, I decided twisting would be better, otherwise the part could easily tilt and fall off. The inner part here is rather thin, so I held it with tweezers as I bent up the side. I think the instructions said to twist these tabs, but I folded them over for no other reason than it was easy and sufficient. You may have heard this before, but it helps to bend tabs like these that are angled out inward so that they point towards the next connection. It helps them to better line up with their slots. You might notice I will skip showing over and over shaping the same part. For instance, here there are 4 of these sections, and I will only show shaping it once. For part 31, I bent the 2 tabs inward so that they would line up with their slots, but then needed to bend a hook in the end of one of those tabs so it would push through its angled slot. I put the top part on the wrong side. The instructions say to make 6 of these guns using part 36, but I only made 2 for now since I only needed 2 for the next step. I folded that the wrong way. When attaching parts 38 and 39 together, I was looking for indication of how to orient part 38. I was focused on the engraving at the end of part 38, but saw no indication as to how that was to be placed. I missed the obvious of leaving the end with the strips sticking out so that they are on the lower edge of things rather than in the middle, which is what I did by mistake. Back to making 4 more guns from part 36. Without being able to see if the tabs were lining up with their slots, it took more trial and error than I am showing here to get these guns in their place. I am installing this assembly a little prematurely. I thought I could still squeeze the next assembly in place even though I put it together out of order, but there was another problem. I had installed the bottom part of this assembly upside down as mentioned earlier. I tried removing the other assembly before I figured that out.
And that brings us to the end of part 1. It doesn't look like we've done very much, but we are looking at over 3 hours worth of material right here. There's so much detail in these little guns and little pieces, and honestly, I'm taking my time with this one because I expect it to be challenging and I expect the amount of detail, and I'm taking a deep breath at the beginning of this model and have approached it slowly. So I am taking my time, trying to do it right and trying to do it careful, and this is what we've got so far. Stay tuned because there is more to come.